Hello there, everybody. This is Shane Lambert. I write a lot at movietvtechgeeks.com. I also have some self-published material on Amazon.com, and I'm going to discuss that material in the context of Jasper, Alberta here with a little pictorial. First thing, I'll just show the image credits that I'm going to be using in this quick pictorial here. You're looking at Athabasca Falls in this one. That's by Ken Thomas. This is all from Wikipedia, which is going to be Creative Commons. That's Jasper, Alberta by Ryan Shepard. This photo, the railway station by username Sanchom. Winterforce Media, the Tourist Information Center. AUDE, I'll call that odd. Jasper Town Site. Mount Robson by Ralph Dillenberger, and then the last photo I'll be looking at is Pyramid Mountain by Florian, and we'll pronounce that Fuchs, I guess. So this is a photo of Jasper Town Site. Jasper's the setting for a novel that I wrote called A Worker's Life in the Resort Town. It's based on experiences from when I did work there. However, it's highly fictionalized. For example, my worker works in a hotel. When I most recently worked at Jasper, I actually worked where this photo's taken from. Well, to get to this point, this is from on top of Whistler's Mountain, which is just to the south of Jasper, so this direction over here is north. To get here, you could take a trail, to be honest, and you could hike, but that's the road less traveled. Most people, they go to the Jasper Tramway. That's what it was called when I worked there. It's called the Jasper Skytram now, I believe. So this is Whistler's Mountain. This is the Athabasca River. And you got the Jasper Park Lodges over in this area here. And this is the town of Jasper. This area over here is called Pyramid Bench. If you were to look over here, you'd see Pyramid Mountain. This is Pyramid Lake and Patricia Lake. So yeah, this is basically, I'll show you where this is in another photo. This is an interesting mountain range over here. It's thought to be somebody's lying on their back looking upwards. So these are the mountains just to the north of the town of Jasper. So this is a photo just of the town of Jasper directly in the town. I would say this is from the 90s, to be honest. The TD Bank, I believe it was still there last time I was in Jasper a couple years ago. I don't know about a lot of the other stuff. This looks like a restaurant. I don't think that's a restaurant anymore. But the previous photo was from the top of this mountain facing this direction. So it's just on the edge of this picture, but right over here, if you were to extend it a little ways, you'd see a building. That's the Jasper Skytram's restaurant. And that photo from the previous one was either taken from this peak over here or this one over here. Probably this one over here. So this is within the town of Jasper. Kind of old cars. Doesn't look like a modern photo to me. So I mentioned Pyramid Lake and Pyramid Mountain a short time ago. This is Pyramid Lake. There's a trail here. You can see it goes out to this island, and you can canoe in that lake. It's a very cold lake. I knew people who fell in that lake in winter and got out alive, and when the emergency responders got there, they said they were very lucky to be alive, and they had to swim a great distance. But this is a very nice mountain. It's right to the west of the town of Jasper. Very viewable. I would say probably got to be a very photographed mountain just from the town of Jasper. Mount Edith Cavell is another mountain that's looked at a lot. However, that's a little ways out of Jasper. This is Pyramid Mountain. It does make I do reference this mountain in my novel. It looks like we might have a canoer right here in the background. Basically, my character towards the end of the novel is done working for the summer, And instead of marketing all the destinations that he's had to market over the whole summer, he finally has a chance to enjoy them themselves. And so I mentioned Pyramid Bench. There's a whole lot of trail networks in the back here. So he goes hiking, and Pyramid Mountain is his reference point while he hikes. This is the Jasper train station. It's called Via Rail. There's also some, you can see VIA right there. There's also some car rental agencies inside there. It's right on the eastern edge of the town of Jasper. If you were to go east, you'd be into some rail tracks and then just into the forest. The previous photo from the top of the mountain, that was this mountain over here. The previous photo from within town was just over to the right here. So if you were taking the train, this is where you'd arrive, and all the hotels are over here. Just over here there's a big parking lot to the left, which would be the north of this train station. That's where you arrive if you take the Greyhound bus. So this does appear in my novel a few times, just because the workers, they're always quitting. That's the one thing about these resort towns, is if you actually last the whole season, you're a little bit out of the norm. So in my novel, there was a bus that left at 1:30 a.m. And basically, if you wanted to know who was quitting their job, you could just stand right there and see who's getting on that bus and going to Vancouver. Pretty much not. I mean, it's a fictionalized novel, but I don't know what time the bus comes, to be honest. But that's, if you want to know who's not going to be at work the next morning in Jasper, Alberta, just check the 1:30 a.m. departure. They'll tell you from the airport too. They don't like one of my characters quits, and it's not like he gives his 2 weeks notice and does anything normal. It's a text message from the airport, and there's lots of people who are like that. This is the Jasper Tourist Information Center. So if you were to look past this, you would see the Via Rail Tourist Center. So this is where you go if you have questions, and it's right across the street from where you arrive. So if you arrive during business hours, this is who you can talk to. This photo is not in Jasper. This is actually in British Columbia, but it's just across the border. It's only about a 50-minute drive from the town of Jasper. This is called Mount Robson. Largest mountain in the Canadian Rockies. Tallest, maybe not largest. Kind of slightly different meanings there. If you remember the first photo from the top of the mountain looking down on Jasper, you could actually see this mountain to the west on a very clear day. It just looks like a tiny little triangle. So if it's just a matter of seeing it, you can see it all from the top of that Skytram trip there. But it's a good 50-minute drive, and it's a very nice area. The mountain, it does just stand out just from its size. I have been to Mount Fuji, which is nothing compared to this, so I think that's Japan's tallest mountain. I've also seen Denali, which used to be called Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley dwarfs this mountain, but this mountain for the area is still huge, and so it's definitely a spot to take in if you're visiting Jasper in Western Canada. But like I said, it's outside of Jasper, just down the Yellowhead Highway towards Vancouver for just less than an hour. This is one of my favorite areas of Jasper. This is Athabasca Falls. Athabasca Falls is a really interesting area to me. This is Athabasca River, and it's just really cut out some areas of the rock here over, I guess, the eons. And you could walk the areas where the river used to run, and it's got staircases now. This is on the highway towards Banff from Jasper. I think it's about less than an hour. So back here is Mount Kirkesland, and in my novel, my character visits Athabasca Falls. and the hotel he stays at is a fictional hotel called the Mount Kirkestlin Lodge. This is also the photo I use. This is also the photo I use for my ebook, Western Canada in Less Than a Month, Budget Travel and Itinerary Tips. It's popular with the Brits, so that's Mount Kirkestlin, and this is the Athabasca Falls. So it says written in 2012, but I did update it a couple years ago. You can get a free preview. My friend James took that photo. Basically, I put together an itinerary that starts in Edmonton and includes Jasper. So there's Edmonton. And continues, it goes all the way to what's now called Haida Gwaii, that used to be called the Queen Charlotte Islands, and to Vancouver Island and Vancouver. So it's a quick itinerary for people that are looking to do Western Canada in less than a month. And here's the novel I wrote. It's called A Worker's Life in a Resort Town. Has not been read by a lot of people, but the people that have read it have liked it. There's my cover. Tells the story of a man who's not interested in the corporate ladder per se. He's actually in the right setting for it, and he's a smart guy. So that's the fiction. But it's loosely based on my life. It's not history by any sense, but very fictionalized account. For example, my character's parents are dead, and in real life mine aren't. My character doesn't have any siblings, and in real life I do. So as soon as I change things up to avoid any kind of infringement on other people's lives, the character became unique and had his own problems. But I really have worked in these resort towns, and I noticed a lot, and I basically represented my take on a worker's life in a resort town here. People have liked it. I would say only probably about 20 people have read it, but actually more than 20. When I had a free promo going, a lot of people read it. But I'll just go through the cover here. It's changing beds, meeting couch surfers, loathing staffacom, working nights, getting roofied. Roofied means having your drink spiked by a sexual predator. So I knew a woman that happened to, and it wasn't that uncommon, unfortunately. Working days, cleaning toilets, changing jobs, checking in guests, hiding from HR, mopping puke, working overtime, drinking constantly, hating management, making the bonus, getting blamed, quitting without notice, or bailing in October. A worker's life in a resort town, and that's by me. So this would take, I think you could read it in a day if you wanted, but if you're not going to sit down and read it, you can go chapter by chapter and do it in 1 to 2 weeks. So yeah, that's kind of the backdrop for my novel. It's set in Jasper, Alberta, which is all the photos we just looked at. So hope you enjoyed the pictorial. Thank you. Bye-bye.